Welcome to the Grail Standard. I'm Sir Yvain. In today's episode, we explore what it truly means to live as a Christian knight in a fallen world. To suffer, yet not surrender. To fall, yet rise against. To refuse victimhood and instead live with courage, self-mastery, and faith in God. We live in an age where victimhood has become a kind of currency. Society rewards outrage, grievance, and weakness disguised as virtue. But the Christian knight, the chivalric soul, is called to something higher. As George of Cappadocia wrote in Chivalry, the ideal whose time has come again, the chivalric man is not defined by what happens to him, but how he responds to it. That's the essence of anti-victim thinking. It's not denial of suffering, it's mastery over it. Romans 8:37 declares, "In all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." A knight of Christ doesn't see himself as a casualty of history, politics, or circumstance. He sees himself as an instrument of divine purpose, a warrior of virtue. The medieval knight was tested by hunger, war, and betrayal, yet his measure was not in comfort but in character. The same is true for us today. The spiritual war has simply changed its form. 2 Timothy 1:7 reminds us, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of self-control." In chivalry, this translates to discipline. The knight who loses control of his spirit through fear, bitterness, or despair is no longer free. George of Cappadocia wrote that courtesy, honor, and prowess all flow from inner mastery. The man who controls himself cannot be controlled by the world. James 1:2-4 tells us to consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds, because the testing of your faith produces perseverance. This is the essence of the knightly formation. In an age of chivalry, a squire became a knight only through trials, through endurance, pain, and humiliation. These experiences weren't punishments, they were purification. Likewise, God allows hardship to forge us into spiritual warriors. The victim says, "Why me?" The knight says, "Lord, teach me through this." Proverbs 24:16 declares, "Though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again." Every fall is a chance to rise stronger. The code of chivalry was never about being flawless, it was about perseverance in the pursuit of virtue. The fallen knight who repents and rises again is far greater than the man who never risked failure. Christ himself fell under the weight of the cross, yet he rose again to redeem the world. That's the pattern we are called to imitate. Not perpetual suffering, but redemptive struggle. Galatians 6:5 says, "Each one should carry their own load." Chivalry was never about entitlement. A knight served God, his Lord, and his people, not his ego. He bore the responsibility as his badge of honor. In a world where many demand sympathy without accountability, the Christian knight stands apart. He carries his cross without complaint, knowing that dignity comes from duty, not from pity. Jesus said in John 16:33, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." The key phrase there is take heart. Christ acknowledges suffering, but never sanctifies victimhood. Faith means standing tall even when the world beats you down, because your worth isn't defined by your wounds, but by your will to keep fighting for the good, the true, and the beautiful. George of Cappadocia reminds us that chivalry is not nostalgia, it's renewal. The modern knight is not armored in steel, but in faith. Not bound to a king, but to a higher king. The victim asks, "Who will save me?" The Christian knight answers, "Christ already has. Now I must act." That's the path of spiritual knighthood. Courage over fear, fear over apathy, faith over victimhood. Thank you for joining me on the Grail Standard. I'm Sir Yvain. Remember, every trial is a test of your spirit. Rise again and fight the good fight with faith and honor. Until next time, keep your sword sharp, your heart pure, and your eyes on the Grail.